Greetings, everyone, to another quick tips from the Beaties. We call this tip line, if you will, advice at the Vise. Today, we're going to talk about hooks and thread. They can be a little bit intimidating. What number means what? What size of thread is what? What's an 18-0 compared to a 18? Those are all numbers you're going to have to deal with as you dig into the world of hooks and thread. Let's take a look at a quick PowerPoint. We can talk about, maybe clear up some of that a little bit. Hooks and thread. Why would you care about them? Well, first off, they're the foundation of your fly. Both is the hook being the real foundation of the fly, and the thread being what holds the rest of the fly on the hook. And it's also a great proportion calculator. Let's start with the parts of the hook. It's kind of important because those parts are what we use as our gauge when tying flies. We've got the shank, the flat part across the top, the eye on the right-hand side, the bend on the left, the gape, the section between the point and the shank, also called the gap. We've got the point and the barb. Now, why would we use the parts of the hook rather than a gauge? Well, you can buy a gauge. Gauges are, on average, sort of accurate because they are based on an average hook sizing. And at the end of this presentation, we'll show you two hooks that are the same size, but they are not quite the same size. Anyway, so why use a hook as your gauge? It's right in front of you in the vise, and you can do almost all parts of a fly based on some measurement of the hook. What do? We have an electronic test clip, and we just take a spare hook of whatever size we're tying and put it in that test clip, and we have a gauge. We use several styles of hook. You've got the dry fly. In the second row, we have the 2X long wet, 3X, 4X. In the bottom row, we've got the scud, the sedge, and the stimulator. For years and years, we used two hooks and two hooks only. On the top, we had the dry fly hooks, and we had 3X long wet fly hooks, and it covered everything we needed to do for many years. Here's the XL system. It has to do with the shank. Each of those numbers just indicates how many eye widths the shank is longer than a standard selected by the industry. At the bottom, it's only 1X longer than the standard dry fly hook. The next one up, it's two eye widths longer, 3 and 4. Hook sizes can be really intimidating. Hooks available today for the biggest part. A larger number means a smaller hook. A size 8 is a larger hook than a size 18, even though 18 is a bigger number. But then you reach size 1 hooks, and when you start getting larger than size 1, the designation /0 is added to the number. From that point on, each hook size is larger than the one before. As an example, size 4.0 is bigger than size 1.0. The /0 indicates a change. Thread is measured based on weight, grams per 9,000 meters of fiber. That number, those grams, is referred to as a denier. If you thought hooks were confusing, thread's confusing as well. It's measured based on weight per 9,000 meters of fiber. There's a number, the number of grams is the number that's referred to as denier. And so we'll take a look at the dictionary's definition of denier, and then we'll look at ours. A unit of weight indicating the fineness of fiber, filaments, and yarns, and equal to a yarn weight on grams per each 9,000 meters, used especially for women's hosiery. Our definition, denier. For our purposes as fly tyers, denier means the weight in grams of 9,000 meters of a particular thread. Example, 9,000 meters of Danville 6.0 thread weighs 70 grams. An equal length of 3.0 thread, which is larger, weighs 140 grams. The 4 threads that we use in 99% of our tying are these right here. Single strand floss from Danville, 240 denier. The 3.0, 140. 6.0, 70. and then a spider web 18-0 is 30 denier. We find that these four fit 99% of our needs as fly tires. Are the /O and denier numbers always the same from all suppliers? The short answer is no. Why? We think it's marketing. We could go into a long dissertation about marketing and why they're trying to get you to buy their thread, but I think you're all smart people. You can figure it out yourself. We suggest that, as a closing thought here, pick one and stay with it. On your thread, pick a thread that works for you. Choose your thread based on denier. Don't choose it based on the /O system. Sometimes the /O number applied in a marketing campaign is a little misleading. We'll leave it at that. Hook sizing from one manufacturer to another is close, but it's not 100% even. There is no industry standard in the hook industry, unfortunately. We've got an example here for you. Let's move over to this position right here. Here are two size 4 hooks that I've lashed together with some thread. I made them just as close and even as I possibly could, and they are not even. They're both size 4, but one on the left is just a little smaller than the one on the right. Let's take a closer look. It's not very much, but it's a little bit. When you start getting down into the really small sizes, down in 16s and smaller, that sometimes is even more dramatic. For now, that's all we got to talk to you about on threads and hooks. We suggest one thing: pick what works for you, stay with it. You don't need to change with every new game in town. A hook is a hook. As long as it's good and strong and holds a fish, you're great. The thread is a thread, as long as it holds the materials on the hook. Enjoy tying with us. Every Friday, we have a fly tying clinic. Join us. Send us an email. But for now, that's a wrap.